and welcome to Sports Talk. I'm Ed Gottwalls along with Colin Stevens. Here we are in the second week of high school football, and I think we probably know a little bit more than we did last week at this time.
Yeah, that's for sure.
A couple things. I think Chambersburg looked really good last week. I know Greencastle's probably a little down from what they've been, but there's a lot of things I saw at Chambersburg last week that were very positive.
Yeah, on both sides of the ball too, so lots to be excited about
Yeah,
there.
and they clearly have some speed. They've got multiple weapons. They had some nice passes both running, and the defense played probably better than I expected.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the one touchdown Greencastle scored was on a missed assignment, so other than that, they shut them down.
Yep. Greencastle, I think they're going to be okay. I think they kind of got blitzed a little bit by Chambersburg, and I think they'll do okay, fine in their league, but I do think their levels are maybe a little bit down from what it has been the last couple of years.
Yeah, Taninis, he saw some things, and he's going to make some changes to the lineup, and I think that'll start to get the groove back on that team.
Let's mention Shippensburg. They pulled off a really nice win last week, 21-20 at Central Dauphin East, which is coached by one of the best coaches around, George Chomp. So that's a real feather in their cap. They got 2 touchdowns in the last 2 minutes. So it wasn't like they beat East up, but heck, a win up there, that's great for them and great bonus points.
Definitely, yeah. Win's a win. You'll take it no matter how you get it.
Yeah, it's nice to see them schedule somebody like it too. That's kind of what their plan was, and it worked.
Yeah, they might not see a much tougher opponent the rest of
Probably
the year.
True.
So.
And then I mentioned James Buchanan. They lost 56-26 to Biggerville, but Biggerville is supposed to be pretty good this year. And JB was right in that game until just about halftime, and then that second half, I think their depth kind of wore out a little bit.
Yeah, that'll be the challenge for JB this year. Second half of ball games and seeing if they can keep up with teams.
Well, let's look at this week's games. I'll read them all off, and we'll go back and talk about each one. We have Waynesboro at Chambersburg, and these are all Friday night at 7 o'clock. Greencastle at Boiling Springs, Shippensburg at Camp Hill, and New Oxford at James Buchanan. Waynesburg, Chambersburg. Waynesburg lost last week to East Pennsboro, and I think Chambersburg's biggest thing is coming down off a big high from beating Greencastle, because Waynesboro, Johnny Adgers is tough. You got to figure he might break 1 or 2 here or there, but I think Chambersburg certainly has the talent to come through all right.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, especially the thing I think Chambersburg has going for them is that defense. And I think they will be able to kind of slow Adgers down, maybe give them a few pops early, and that could throw him off his rhythm for the rest of the game. They're playing really well on the lines, both offensively and defensively. So I think this is definitely in the Trojans' favor. If they could blow out the Blue Devils like they did, I'd be a little worried if I were the Indians.
Yeah, plus they've got the speed in the secondary to catch Adgers if he doesn't get free.
That's for sure.
All right, Greencastle Boiling Springs. Last week, Boiling Springs lost 12-0 to Littlestown, and Littlestown put up over 200 yards of rushing. So I think that's probably where Greencastle's heading this week on the ground.
Definitely, and again, Taninis after the game last week, he was getting in the ears of a few linemen specifically. So I think that's where maybe you'll see some changes in the play. And he says it all the time, if you can win the battles up front on the lines, that's going to make the big difference. So if he can get that going for the team, I think they'll be back on track.
Well, especially played Boiling Springs for a while, so I haven't seen that matchup. Third game, Shippensburg at Camp Hill. This is quite a change for Camp Hill, going from a quad A school to a single A school. Camp Hill did put up a 35-7 win last week over Upper Dauphin, and they had 3 touchdown passes, so they have some kind of an air game. So probably a good test for Ship's defense.
Definitely, and I think they'll come through on top. I think Shippensburg, after that win last week, you got to think they're probably one of the top teams in the Mid-Penn and definitely Franklin County. So Shippensburg, I think, is going to be on top at the end of this one.
Okay. Then we have New Oxford at James Buchanan. New Oxford had a rough start last week. They lost 21-0 in the Bermudian Springs, but they only, on offense, they had minus 10 yards total. So last week for JB was kind of an offensive shootout. This week, I don't know. It could be a whole different kind of game.
Yeah, this could be the game that they get their win. We're seeing them as kind of a 1 or 2 win team this year, and if New Oxford can't move the ball last week, minus 10 yards. The Rockets have to be chomping at the bit to get into this game, and certainly since they put up points last week, that was always a problem. Especially a lot of their points may come against backup players in the second half of games last year. They were putting up points in the first half, so if they can translate that to this week and take some momentum from that, this could be their game this year.
Yep. Okay, that's the 4 games for this week. That's it for Sports Talk. Until then, until next week, enjoy the games.